work out our frustration on our abs. How's that sound? All right, so go ahead and lay yourself down on your mat. I always recommend a big stretch out. Take a deep inhalation and just let it go. Just make yourself comfortable for a second. So if that's spread out completely on your mat, if that's knees bent, just whatever you need to do right now. To just close your eyes and bring your attention to you, to your mat, tuning out the excessive noise of the outside world right now. And just give yourself this time, this hour, to focus only on you, your breath, your practice. Begin taking inhales through the nose and exhales through the nose. Every exhalation, allow yourself to just relax a bit more, release a bit more, let go of any muscle strain you might be holding. And just take a little bit of a scan of your body physically and just notice where you might be feeling any tension, might be feeling pain, might be feeling soreness, any of those things, just without judgment, just awareness, and then try to breathe into those areas, and as you exhale, try to let them go. So some target areas, sometimes our jaw, our face, actually, we hold a lot of tension, our hips, our shoulders. So just see if you can let them go. Everyone has their own areas. So just take note of your tension areas and see how they're feeling right now. And just let it go. And like I said, you really want to try to give yourself mentally over to the practice. So as best as you can, give yourself this time to just focus on you, not worrying about what's coming next, not worrying about what came before, living right now in this moment on your mat. Nothing else matters. So as I said, we're going to begin with Pilates. So if you're not already there, bend your knees and place your feet on the mat about hips distance apart. So your knees and thighs and shins and feet are all parallel to one another. Roll your shoulders down and back. Press your palms into the mat and begin by pulling your belly button in and pressing your low back into the mat. So you're engaging your abdominal muscle and you're finding that neutral position. I'm just going to mute whoever is not muted. I think that's everyone. Okay. Okay. So when we do Pilates, we typically would exhale through our lips, and that's not going to do when you blow out the air through your mouth. That's really going to contract your transversus abs and your multifidi, which are the deep abdominal muscles. So when we do these Pilates exercises, you can do that to get more benefit of the exercise. If it's too much to kind of merge yoga breathing with Pilates breathing, don't worry about it. Just inhale and exhale normally as you would. As long as you're breathing, that's the best thing. So we begin with some pelvic tilts to kind of warm up our spine. So as you inhale, you're going to tilt your pelvis and then lift the hips, lift the glutes. Imagine peeling your back off one vertebra at a time until you come to your shoulders, and then lower down one vertebra at a time. So pull that belly button in and bring down your back, upper, middle, lower, hips as you exhale. Again, inhale on the way up. Holding for a second and then exhaling through nose or lips on the way back down. So if you're moving slower or faster than me, as always, that is 100% okay. We all have different lung capacity. All I care about is that you're inhaling as you tilt up, using that full breath to come up, exhaling as you lower down. If you'd like to integrate the arms, begin to warm up the shoulders. As you inhale, those arms reach up overhead. And as you exhale, you release back down to the mat. Inhale to tilt up and stretch those arms overhead. Exhale to release down. Last time, inhale up. Exhale, lower. Leave the arms where they are and just lift up to that bridge one more time. All right, take a deep breath, expand your abdomen and release it, contracting the abdominals, contracting the gluteals to keep yourself lifted. You might need, I often find I need to walk my feet a tiny bit closer. There isn't a hard and fast rule here. You just want to be comfortable. Palms in the mat, I mean, you're working, so comfortable maybe isn't the right word, but just get your feet so you feel supported. And from here, we're going to do little teeny squeezes up. So we're going to do a series that those of you who have been in my class before, you know this series well. It's our targeted glute work. All of it is optional. So you could continue just doing this little pulse the whole time, and that would be absolutely fine. You'll do like 100 of them, so it won't be easy. Anybody who wants the more challenging options, I will give those to you. It is up to you what you do. All of the movement is tiny. It's not a big drop down and lift up. It's just a little squeeze up. It's like you're at the highest point and then you just squeeze that little bit more. I'll be giving you the option to work on the balls of your feet, and I'll be giving you the option to work with one leg up. You can have knee bent, will be more modified, or leg straight will be more challenging. So you decide. So many options. I will give you the options. You decide what is best for you. First option, coming up on the balls of the feet. Again, you might have to walk the feet a little bit closer, and you just continue that pulsing up on the balls of your feet. And you're just inhaling and exhaling normally here. So each pulse or each breath may be 3 to 5 pulses, depending on the length of your breath, depending on the speed of your pulsing. All right, so now we're going to work one leg at a time. So lower those heels back down. You can keep that movement going. I'm going to start with my left leg just because it's the one closer to you. First option is to bring that leg just to tabletop. More challenging option is to flex the foot and push it up towards the sky. Continuing to pulse, inhaling and exhaling. The more you can kind of flex that foot and get that leg straight, try to get it straight up from your hip. That's going to be a factor of flexibility. Some of you might find you're more out here, that's fine. But just work to pull it back, increasing that flexibility. Next options, come up on the ball of your right foot and point that left toe towards the ceiling, or whichever foot is up in the air. Continuing to pulse, and now you're reaching the toe towards the ceiling and you're up on the ball of the opposite foot. 10 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower both feet down and switch legs, pulsing up. Flat foot on the floor, heel flexed, foot flexed, pushing the heel away, really straightening that opposite leg. I have my right leg raised. Again, seeing if you can get it straight up from your hip. It's not pulling back towards your face, but ideally, yeah.
Is the resting version just to stay in bridge? When
Yeah.
You can't do it anymore? Okay.
And then if you'd like, point your toe, come up on the ball of your foot, and continue pulsing. Continuing to breathe, make sure you're not holding your breath. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that leg down, lower all the way down, hug your knees into your chest, and give yourself a little rock from side to side. And let's release the back, just in case you're holding any tension in your low back. Drop your knees down to either side, doesn't matter which. Cactus your arms. Turn your head and look over the opposite shoulder. And if you want, you can take your fist and give yourself a little massage by kind of pounding on your hip, your glute there, releasing that, because that was a fair amount of work there. Your glutes can handle it, they're big muscles. Take a couple breaths. And then over to the other side, turning your head, looking over the opposite shoulder, and then same option if you want to take your fist and give yourself a little massage. You might find there's some areas there that are really tender that you didn't even realize. And back to center. All right, we're going to do the leg stretch series. We're going to do this as a full series, no breaks, but obviously if you get tired at any point, take a break and come back to join us, all right? The biggest key is you need to keep that back flat on the floor. As soon as you're arching your back, I need you to modify by bringing the legs closer to the body so you're not arching your back. Starting with the single leg stretch. Right hand on the right ankle, left hand below the right knee, extending the left leg up in the air, and then you're going to lower that leg down as low as you can without arching your back. Lift your head up, chest up, shoulders up as high as you can, chin towards chest, elbows are wide. Inhale, pull that right leg in, exhale to switch. Inhale, right leg in, exhale to switch. Staying super stable. This is where we have that glass balancing on our belly button. We don't want it to spill. Those of you who've been with me for a while and you're more advanced, you can add some momentum to this, really pulling in and pushing out with some speed to challenge yourself. But otherwise, we're just going nice and slow, inhaling and exhaling. 3, 2, last one. Hug the left knee in, draw the right knee in to meet it, tucking yourself in a little tiny ball. Inhale, you're going straight up, or the legs can go down a little bit to challenge. Exhale, bring yourself into a little ball. Inhale, back stays flat on the mat. That's how you know how far to bring your legs down. Inhale to extend. Exhale, chin towards chest, eyes on thighs. Not looking at the ceiling here. Inhale for 3, for 2, last one, holding it. Maybe challenge yourself to lower your legs, but again, without pooching out your belly, without arching your back. And then draw the right leg in. You're grabbing hold behind the thigh, the calf, or the ankle, just not the knee, please. And then switch. Inhale, right leg in, keeping hips and belly stable. Again, if you've been doing this for a while, go ahead and add some momentum so you make it more of a kick. Otherwise, it's nice and slow and steady. Looking straight in front of you, never pulling on the knee. Rather hold the thigh and have your leg be further away but straight than try to grab your calf and bend your knee. You can really build really great hamstring flexibility with this if you work with a straight leg. Last one, finish left, bring both legs up. Harder version is hands behind the head. Modified version is hands under the body, head flat on the floor. You decide. Flex the feet as you inhale, lower down. As you exhale, pull back up. Inhale, lower as you can go without arching the back. Exhale to vertical. Again, harder option, if you've been doing this for a while, is to kick those legs to vertical without going back over your face. So you use your strength to stop them at vertical. Inhale, like that. Inhale. Last one. And bend the knees. Everybody, hands behind your head, lift your head up, chin towards chest for crisscross. Inhale. As you exhale, draw one knee in, bring it towards the opposite shoulder, and that elbow goes down towards the floor. Back to center. Exhale to twist. Always pausing at center. It's not like the bicycles where you're going back and forth. You twist, exhale, inhale. Good, one more each side. Finish opposite side from where you started and release that all the way down. Give yourself a hug and a rock. Let's do a couple rolling like a ball here. It's a little hard starting on the mat, but you'll get there. Give yourself a rock up. See if you can do it with balancing so the feet don't touch the floor. Pull the belly button in, tuck yourself into a little ball and rock. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. If you're smacking down on the mat, it's because you're not tucked into a ball. Pull your belly button in and rock back. It's just like we were doing earlier, one vertebra at a time, down and up. And then rock yourself to the top. Extend your legs, flex your feet, sit up tall. Try to zip up through here, really support it through the spine so you're not collapsing into it. If you find you're kind of collapsing into it, if you bend your knees a little bit, it will help you. It means your hamstrings are tight. We got to work on that hamstring flexibility. Otherwise, we're sitting nice and tall, spine stretched forward. Shoulders are rolling down and back, nestled in their back pockets. Arms stay parallel to the floor, our spine rounds. Inhale. Exhale, chin towards chest, reach the fingertips forward, pull the hips and belly button back. Inhale to restack. Exhale. Inhale. The more you flex your feet, the more you work those hamstrings. Exhale. You won't touch your toes. Your hands, if anything, pass over your toes. Last time, inhale. Exhale to reach. Inhale to restack. And then we'll do saw. So the arms come out wide from shoulders. You're reaching opposite pinky finger towards opposite pinky toe on the exhale. So it's an inhale to sit up tall, exhale to twist and stretch. Inhale, opposite side, twist and stretch. Flexing the feet as always. Last one each side. Inhale. Exhale. When you finish that last side, come back to center. Keep the arms lifted if you can, working our shoulders and arms a little bit. And we're just going to twist the torso. So it's a nice tall spine, flexed feet, planted on the mat, shoulders down away from the ears. Try not to hold tension. Inhale, twist to one side. Inhale back to center, twist to the other side. One more time, each side. For me, I started left, finish right. Whenever you're done, come back to center. I'm just going to turn and face you. And we're going to laterally bend, go to either side. Inhale, exhale. So let that arm that's on the mat be soft. You don't want it to lock. Just let it go so you can bend into it. You're breathing into the opposite side. Nice deep breaths through nose or mouth. You always want to breathe through the nose, inhale through the nose, unless, if you're sick or have allergies and you're congested. Always try to inhale through the nose. And then in yoga, we classically exhale through the nose. In Pilates, we classically exhale through the mouth. I will interchange them in these fusion classes, but just do what works. That can get confusing if you're new, so don't worry about it too much. Coming to the other side. Notice how that breath feels when you're sort of collapsed and compressed here. Excellent, back up to top. And forward fold yoga style, Paschimottanasana. So inhale, extend the arms up. Now rather than rounding the spine, see if you can hinge from the hips. Reaching forward, your gaze is looking forward. You're reaching, trying to lengthen here out of the base of your spine. Flexing the feet, and then go ahead and just fold into it and release everything. Take an inhale. And an exhale. And roll yourself up. Whew, I'm hot. I always turn off my air conditioning so the sound will be better. Now I'm hot. All right, come over onto your hands and knees. It's gonna be a little bit of experiment for me. I usually have a double layer, but I rearranged, as you can see, so I'm on the hard floor. So if ever it is too much on whatever surface you're on, obviously you can double up, you can put a rug, you can put a second mat, you could also fold up your mat. So if ever your knees bother you when we're on hands and knees, just adjust. So pulling the belly button in, shoulders rolling down and back. So we're gonna do flat back today, maintaining this neutral spine, and we're gonna use our core to hold it there. So unlike cow-cat, where we have a flexible spine, I want you to keep your spine in alignment for this one. So we won't do quite as much movement. So I'll start with left leg, so it's the leg towards you. So I'm gonna push the left leg away and extend the right arm away. And just hold here for a couple of breaths. So what will tend to happen is you'll lean to the side. I started trying to lean, almost fell over. You don't want to lean to the side. Come to center. See if you can square your hips. Notice if you're lifting that lifted leg and twisting into it. See if you can keep the hips parallel to the floor. It's one reason to keep your camera on, and if you want to keep yourself big, because sometimes you can see these things. Or if you have a mirror, that works too. Okay, so keeping your spine in alignment, not moving the spine as much as possible, we're going to draw the knee towards elbow, elbow towards knee. They might not reach. And then extend back out. Exhale to pull in. Inhale to extend. Exhale. Inhale. For 3 and 2. Last one, extend, bring them out to the side, arm out from shoulder, leg out from hip, flexing that foot. Again, trying not to lean into it, trying to keep that leg lifted. It probably won't be at hip height. Maybe you've got the flexibility, that's fine. Hold it for a couple of breaths. And come back to center. We'll do my scorpion push-ups today. Hands under shoulders. It's a little seesaw. It's a tilt down towards the mat. Maybe you only go part way down. Maybe you make it all the way nose to the mat. Exhale to press back up. Tilt down. But you notice my body, my leg, nothing is moving. I'm just tilting down and pressing back up. For 2 more. Last one. Good. Bring that leg that's there. I've got the left leg extended, whichever one you're working with. Bring it all the way through, planting it down. Rising up, hands behind the back, the knee, hinging forward. If you want, extending the arms up. We could really open up the back here, bring the hands behind your back, clasp them together, pull the shoulder blades together, tilt the gaze towards the ceiling. Bring the hands onto the mat, coming to a runner's lunge, lift that back foot off the floor, check that your front knee is over your front ankle. Inhaling and exhaling. Rising up into a runner's lunge, hands at heart center. Inhale to extend the arms up. And twist towards the bent leg. Back arm shoots back, front arm shoots forward. Staying lifted through the chest and the core. Bending the front knee as much as you're able without tracking out of your toes. And then bring the hands to heart center, coming to a low twist. So that elbow comes to the knee, to the thigh, or it locks against it, dropping all the way down. Hands again, stay at heart center. If you're falling, if you're unstable, drop your back knee down. Equally, if you wanted, you could put your front hand on the mat. That's a modification. So either one is fine. Knee lifted, knee down, hands at heart, hand on the mat. And release both hands to the mat, squaring off that left foot. Place the left foot back, coming to plank. Your option if you want to drop to knees and modify your plank. Otherwise, staying lifted. And we're going to hold here. Inhaling and exhaling. So last week, some of you had my fun new innovation that I made you do a push-up for every single chaturanga. I'm sure it was your favorite part of your Monday. Today, I'm going to have you do something different. So you can hold plank while I show you what we're going to do today. Or you can rest. But I think you should hold plank. So if you're modifying, that's fine. You're going to modify. And you're just going to lower all the way down into the mat. If you're in full plank from toes, you have 2 options. You're going to lower all the way down to the mat. And then you'll do your cobra. Or my challenge option for the day is that each time we do a chaturanga, we're going to hover. So you're going to lower down, chest towards the floor. You're going to come to as just hovering inches above the mat. Chest is inches above, hips are a little bit higher, and you're going to hold for maybe 2 breaths. And then you're either going to come all the way down or into your up dog, depending on what we're doing. So everyone's still holding plank. I know it's only been a minute. You're fine. Your option, lowering down, either come all the way to the mat or hover for inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and then release all the way down. All right, so you're going to do that each time. You decide, your option. Bring your hands behind your back, just like we did a moment ago. Clasp them together, lifting up chest and shoulders, pulling the hands back, pulling shoulders together, feet are on the mat, glutes are contracted. Good, bringing the hands to the mat, push up, push back, come to child's pose, and take a rest. All right, that's enough of a rest. Back up to hands and knees, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Do you remember what we did? You don't have to, I need to, so let's see if I remember. Extend your opposite leg, so I'm pushing right leg back this time. Belly button in, neutral spine. Neutral spine means you have a little bit of a curve here, right? It just means you're not dropping into it, you're actively lifting it up. Extend your left arm, or opposite arms. And some people have more of a natural curve than others, so know your own body. But you're just not dropping into your pelvis, you're pulling the abs in. You should feel your abs and your glutes working here. They're not on a break, that's for sure. Keeping your back stable, hot cup of tea or glass of sparkling wine is on your back as you draw a knee and elbow towards one another and extend. Exhale in, inhale out. That's confusing. Exhale as you draw everything in, and then inhale as you extend. And 3, and 2, last 1, extend and hold. Opening everything out, arm out from the shoulder, leg out from the hip, and hold. If you exhale through your mouth here, you'll find it will actually help because it will really engage your core. So your option. Bring everything back to center, place the hand down. Scorpion push-ups, diving down towards the mat, pressing back up. Try to keep your elbows by your side here. If you don't go as far down to the mat, that's fine. If it's just a little half push-up, that's fine. But really work to keep your elbows because that's just going to work your tricep. And the more you can strengthen the tricep, the easier this will become. Last one, coming up, swinging that leg forward, planting it down, rising up, hands behind that front knee as we hinge forward. Low crescent lunge, classic, don't think we ever don't do this. Opening up the hip flexor. This is such a tight area on most people, so it's not just because I'm not creative that we do this every week, it's because it's really important. Inhale, arms extend up. This time pulling down into that cactus, pulling your shoulder blades together as you tilt your gaze up towards the ceiling. Still driving forward. Good, bringing the hands to the mat, coming to your runner's lunge on this side. Pressing that heel away. Check the knees over the ankle. If it's not, if it's like way out here, just bring it back. More importantly, if it's under, this is what I more often see, and that's just really not great on your knee. So just walk your foot out until you've got that 90-degree bend. Press yourself up, hands at heart center in your high lunge. Inhale, extending those arms up, and twist towards the bent knees. Remember, we're staying lifted here. Back arm is shooting back, front arm forward, keeping the deep bend in the front knee. And now bending into it, bring the hands to heart center, bring the elbow to the top of the thigh, or binding. Again, remember you can drop the back knee to the mat, trying to keep the hands at heart center, or placing the hand on the mat. Breathe into the twist. And then bringing both hands to the mat, squaring off that foot, stepping the foot back, holding plank. I won't make you hold it for as long this time. Belly button in. Option to modify. If your hips are dropping here and you look like this, bring those hips up and maybe drop to the knees instead. And then you're making a ski slope instead of a plank, which is fine. We're going to lower down, option to hover. So lowering down, either going all the way to the mat, or my more advanced folks, hovering for a breath, for a second breath, and then releasing all the way down into the mat. Inhale, sliding the hands out, rising up to our Sphinx. Palms on the mat, forearms on the mat. Take a breath. Inhale, and exhale. You're still contracting your gluteal muscles here because that's helping to support your back. And you're trying to pull the belly button away from the mat. It might not come off the mat, that's totally fine. But we're just not dropping into it, right? Lifting, lifting, lifting. And releasing that down. Slide the hands back. Push yourself up, curl the toes under, up and back to your downward facing dog. Palms press into the mat, bend one knee, and then the other knee. Flexing the opposite foot towards the floor. Press both heels towards the mat, press both palms into the mat, and see if you can roll those shoulders away from the ears, creating some openness in the space of your shoulders and in your back, engaging those muscles and protecting the shoulder joint. Extend the right leg up, big stretch. Bend the knee, drop that right foot towards the opposite side. So you're lifting the right knee, dropping the right foot towards the left side, right hip stacked on left, opening up. And coming back to center. My favorite, hinging forward, we're gonna open up the hip. So bringing the right knee to the right elbow as you come forward and kick back up. 4 more. Coming forward and extend. Right knee, right elbow. And 2. Last one, hold it out there, and then we'll do the zipper move. So you drop the knee down to the wrist, zip it up to the elbow, down to the wrist, and up. And 3, and 2. Last one, and kick back up. Swing that right foot all the way forward, plant it down, pivot the back foot, rising up to our warrior 1. So with warrior 1, hips are forward, chest is forward, gaze is forward. Bending the front knee as much as you want while keeping the hip forward. So for me, it's less of a bend, otherwise my hips rotate. Humble warrior, hands come behind the back, clasping them together, and then hinging forward. Bowing down, letting the arms stretch overhead. Inhaling and exhaling. Bring the hands to the mat, squaring off that foot. Plank, lower down, either hover or come all the way to the mat. Those of you hovering, come to up dog. Flip the feet, press straight up, upward facing dog. Curl the toes under, press back. Downward facing dog. Sorry, I should have said the modification is to come up to cobra. So you're either doing cobra with hips on the mat or you're doing up dog, more advanced with hips off the mat. Extending the left leg up, bending the left knee, dropping the left foot towards the right side, left knees or left hip stacking on right. And you're kind of lifting through the left knee, that kind of facilitates that. Back to center, same as we just did. Hinging forward, left knee to left elbow, and kick back up. Hinging forward, and extend. 3, kick that leg straight when it goes up, and 2. Last one, hold it, and then zipper down to the wrist, and up for 4, and 3, and 2. Last one, kick back up, and then swing it forward, plant it down, pivot the right foot, rising up, Virabhadrasana 1 on this side. Inward rotation of the right hips, our hips are square, gazing forward. Pressing into the pinky edge of that back foot is going to help strengthen that leg and protect the joint. Bringing the hands behind the back, clasping together, gazing towards the ceiling, and then bowing into your humble warrior. Arms reaching overhead. And release down. I'm going to show the modified version so you guys continue doing the advanced, but for those of you not doing that, we're coming to our plank, and then we're lowering all the way down to the mat. You hovers, go ahead and hover. And then coming up to cobra or to your up dog, and then curl the toes under to down dog. So that's our more modified version. Taking a couple of breaths here in your down dog. Extend that right leg up. Swing it forward, plant it down, warrior one again, rising up. So that left hip, it tends to open out. That's warrior two, right? And warrior one, we want to square the hips forward. So really working on that inward rotation, planting that back foot. If your foot is too pivoted, you won't get there. It needs to be at an angle. Extending those arms overhead. Opening that out, warrior two. So it's an outward rotation of the hips. The arms drop down, gaze stays out over the front hand, and then just check that front knee. You might bend it a bit more, which means maybe you need to walk the foot forward more. And then notice your torso. So we're not leaning into it, we're staying nice and vertical. Inhale, exhale. Good, straighten that leg, pivot everything forward. Feet parallel, hinging forward, releasing down. Forward fold into that. Good, and then walk the feet towards one another, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. Forward fold, grabbing hold of your big toes. Bending the knees, drop the hips, and roll yourself all the way up. Inhale, extend up. Exhale to heart center. We're going to do a balancing pose while we're here. So we're just going to do tree. I like tree. So your tree posture, I'm going to start balancing on my right leg and lift my left leg, but it's mirror image for you. You decide, just make sure you do one now and the other next time. So that foot can either kickstand here against your ankle if you're working on your stability. It can come here to calf. It can come to your thigh, just not on your knee, please. And if you want, you can bring it across your thigh to really open up that hip. You decide what works for you. If you've got your foot on your thigh, what will tend to happen is you push and you pop that hip out. So make sure you're engaging that leg and you're staying nice and lifted through here. That will actually really help with your balance. Find a point to focus on in front of you. You can, of course, grow the limbs of your tree. Just make sure your shoulders aren't by your ears. They're pulling down, opening up. And then place the foot down, bring your hands to heart center, forward fold. Bend your knees so your hands find the mat and heel toe your way back out. Parallel, forward fold. Flip your feet to the front of the mat so your toes are pointing forward again and you're folded over that front leg. Bending that knee as much as you need if the hamstring is tight, or working with a straight hamstring to get some more flexibility there. And then step that front foot forward, coming back to plank. Same options, you're coming all the way down and then coming up to cobra, down dog, or you're hovering and coming to your up dog, down dog. So when you're ready, lowering down, your option, meeting in downward facing dog. Shoulders pulling down away from the ears, pressing into the heels. Left leg comes up, swings forward, plants down, rises up, warrior one. The warriors are confidence building postures, strength building postures. Excellent to do. Opening that out, warrior two. So both feet start where they are and they don't need to move. You open up through the hip, the torso turns. From there, I personally find I need to always open my feet out a little bit more to get to a deeper warrior two. But that's because my warrior one isn't very deep. Gazing out over the front hand, shoulders down and away, lifting through the torso. Everything's strong. And extend up. I'm just going to turn so my back is not to you. I just want you to heel toe in a little bit and then turn your toes out. I'll flip around. And we're going to come down into our goddess pose. Sitting zipped up through here, sinking low, your option. Arms can stay at heart center or they can come out. Make sure you can wiggle your toes. That means you're not coming forward. So what I usually see in goddess, check if this is you, and my goddess is rough. I have to really work on it. What tends to happen is we collapse this way. If you do that, your butt is like jello and you're putting all the weight on your knees. So you want to shift the hips back, sit down into it. Now your glutes have to fire on, your calves have to fire on, but then I'm kind of hinging forward. We want to try to stay upright. Check to see that you can wiggle those toes. Knees should be tracking about over your second toe-ish. I have very narrow and tight hips, so it is a very hard posture for me. Those of you who have a little bit wider hips will be easier. You tend to have more open hips. Women tend to have more open hips because of that. It's not about hips being wide, it's just about being wider than your waist in comparison. So those of us who have more torsos that don't have that kind of curve at the waist tend to have tighter hips. Not always. I've had men that are very open through their hips, so it is definitely not a hard and fast rule. Can you sink a little bit lower? Still keeping the chest lifted. And rising back up. Heel toe those feet all the way in. Make sure you do the other leg. I did left leg last time, so now I'm going to lift right leg. It's going to come to the floor and kickstand. Ankle, calf, thigh, or across the thigh. And again, making sure to not pop out through that hip. Keep that leg strong. Find a point to focus on. Breathe in. Breathe out, same option. You can do anything you want with your arms. You could be holding onto a wall or a chair. You could extend them. This is helpful. Sometimes if you find you're wobbling a little bit, but you don't quite meet the wall, sometimes having your arms extended out here brings you to balance, or at heart center just because you're more compact. Or extended up will tend to be harder. But again, everyone's different. Good, and release that down. Forward fold. That's halfway lift. We haven't done Ardha Uttanasana. Flat back. Releasing down. Walk those feet back out. I'm going to turn back around so my orientation isn't off. And now we're going to pivot back to the front of the mat. So now it's your left foot forward and you're forward folding over that front leg. Stepping that front foot back, finding plank. We're going to come to side plank. So it doesn't matter which you do first. We're going to do one right after the other. So the hand moves to the middle of the mat. You pivot over to your side plank. Here's your option where you can, of course, drop down to your knee. Your other hand can be on your hip. Your other arm can extend. Your feet can be one in front of the other for more stability. They can be stacked to make it harder. And you can lift the top leg to make it even harder. This is called star pose in Pilates for obvious reasons, because I look like a star. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Other side. Bring that arm all the way down to the mat. Pivot around. Your option, you might find this side is easier or harder, so maybe you can't do the same thing you did on the other side, but obviously endeavor to try. I'm going to show you the modified version just in case you don't know it. The knee is dropped down. You could still lift the leg up. And then if your feet are staggered, it's a little bit easier on balance than if your feet are stacked. And of course, lifting your leg adds to the challenge. And then rotate down to the mat, coming to your plank or your modified plank. Same as we've been doing, so you're either hovering, you're coming all the way to the mat, you're coming to cobra, or you're coming to up dog, pressing back, Down dog. Taking a deep breath. Inhale back out to your plank. Lifting the right foot and holding and hovering. Placing that foot down, lifting the left foot, holding and hovering. You're looking in between your thumbs here rather than at your toes. I want you to keep your neck in neutral. Okay, we're going to do one thing kind of atypical of yoga. This is neither yoga nor Pilates. I don't know what it is. It's to get your heart rate going just for a second. So this is a little bit higher intensity, so you can skip it. If you're done, just come to child's pose, or you can hold your plank. We're going to come essentially to lizard lunge in rapid succession, one foot after the other. So one foot steps forward, comes back to plank. Opposite forward, back to plank. So you'll notice my torso isn't moving. You can join me at any time. It's just bringing the leg forward and back. Plant it and back. 2 more each side. This is it. Final stretch. Next time you bring your foot forward, actually plant it for lizard lunge. Option to release the back leg on the mat, option to leave it lifted. Check that knee is over ankle, so your foot is wide. It's at the edge of your mat here, maybe off, maybe slightly on, but near the edge of your mat. You can stay on your hands, or you can lower down to a block on the floor, on your forearms on a block, or your forearms on a floor. And breathe. So your shoulders pushing against that inner thigh. And again, feel free to drop that back leg down. I hate this posture. It's so uncomfortable for me because, as I said, tight hips, tight inner thighs. Ooh, I'm not a fan. But we just breathe through it. Release into it. Let your mind go. Press yourself up, step that foot back, step the other foot forward, lizard lunge on this side. So again, feel free to drop that back knee. If your forearms don't reach the mat, it's a good idea to have a block. Always have a block. You never know where you're going to need it. Check the knees over the ankle, move the foot forward if you need to. And breathe. Holding and breathing, focusing on the stretch, focusing on the breath. No more planks, no more chaturangas. This is it. Release the back knee down. Oops, and includes my email. Step the other knee back and come to child's pose. Breathe into your back. Let it go. If you want, bring your arms down. When you're in child's pose, you can have knees together or knees separated. Knees separated lengthens your spine, knees together rounds your spine. Technically, knees separated is resting warrior. They're both good resting poses. If your name is Tiago, you are a child, so you don't do child's pose, you do rock posture. That's what we call child's pose in children's yoga. You are in rock pose. Like a rock on the earth. Big and strong and sturdy and stable. Good, everyone bring yourself up. Extend your legs along in front of you. Whew. Roll yourself down onto the mat. We're going to finish where we started, bringing the knees, the feet in, and just press yourself up to bridge. Hands on the mat. You could also walk your hands under your body and clasp them together to push your hips up higher. We're just going to hold it here. So try to keep your knees parallel, not dropping out or flopping in. Take a couple of deep breaths. This is technically an inversion. It's a gentle inversion, but it is indeed an inversion. Inhale through the nose, exhale. Take long breaths. If your hands are under you, go ahead and move them out. Draw the right knee in, extend the left leg long. Roll the right ankle a couple of times. Switch, hug the left knee in, extend the right leg long. Roll the left ankle a couple of times. Draw both knees in, extend both legs up. Hands can come slightly under you if that's helpful. Flex your feet. You can also reach your hands up and grab hold, calves, thighs, ankles for a moment. Just want to get the legs up in the air. Also a gentle inversion, but now the legs are up, so it's helping to drain that blood from the legs. So I don't care how if you have a block, it's easiest on a block. I just want your legs lifted for a minute. So however you can get there and still be comfortable with or without your hands. That's the only goal. Take a deep inhale. Open your mouth, let it go. Draw the knees into the chest. Take another deep inhale. Open your mouth, let it go. Extend the legs long. Take a deep inhale. Open your mouth, let it go. Turn the palms up, roll the shoulders down. And release into your Savasana. Chin towards chest. If your heart is beating and you want to slow it down, sometimes exhaling through the lips, a long, steady, slow breath out through pursed lips can help that. Otherwise, you can just do inhales through the nose, exhale through the nose. Watch the breath. Every inhalation, drawing relaxation, a peaceful energy. Every exhalation, letting go of a little bit more stress, a little bit more tension, handing it over to the earth. If your mind drifts, if you start thinking about what's next, just exhale those thoughts, let them go. And focus on the moment. Focus on your breath. Inhale, exhale. Begin to reawaken slowly, wiggling fingers and toes, rolling wrists and ankles, rolling your head from side to side. Drawing your knees towards you, curling into a little ball again, giving yourself a rock. And then rolling to either side, pausing for a moment there in the fetal position. And then when you're ready, press yourself to a seated position, keeping your eyes closed, and just find yourself in a comfortable sit. Legs crossed, lotus, half lotus, or you could sit on your knees. As long as your spine is tall, allow your hands to rest in your lap. Turn your palms up, open, so they can give and receive. And I'm just going to offer a short 1 or 2 minute meditation here. So just continue breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. And we've done this before. It's a Buddhist-based loving kindness meditation, but you don't have to be Buddhist to do this. So as you breathe, turn your attention inward, thinking of yourself. And wish yourself well. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you know peace. And turning your attention to your loved ones, to one person or more, your family, your closest friends, those who are nearest and dearest to your heart. Hold them in your mind's eye, hold them in your heart center. And wish to them, may you be healthy, may you be happy, may you know peace. And then widen your awareness to the wider community, the wider world, and that encompasses those that you love and those that you may not love. In fact, even those for whom you have very strong negative feelings for. But see if you can hold them in your heart as well. And to all beings on earth, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you know peace. Extending your arms outward as if you're about to hug the whole world. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead as if you're gathering all of that love and energy, pressing your palms together overhead. Exhale, bring those hands to heart center and deliver that love and that energy from the universe to your heart. And to all of you, I wish you health, I wish you happiness, I wish you peace. Om Shanti Om. Namaste.